Thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them Locked On sent you. On today's Locked On Yankees, we're previewing the AL wildcard game, which is tonight in Fenway Park between your New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. We'll have rosters, the pitching matchup, and injury news. Yes, there's injury news.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees. It is October 5th. It is the day of the wild card matchup, and it feels like the longest day ever. It also didn't help that the Yankees didn't release their roster till nearly noon today, so that also didn't help matters. But before we get into everything, let you know how to get this podcast. You can listen on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, Odyssey, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Yankees. You can watch me on YouTube. Here I am. Subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. It's one of those days, people. I am a wreck. And I don't know why. I always joke about subscribing to Zen Baseball, being calm, everything will be okay, it's just baseball, and I'm a mess today. I think it's the whole Yankees, Red Sox, winner takes all, one game decides everything. It's in Fenway. Lots of goofy things can happen in Fenway, as we've seen in the past. You never know. So yeah, if they were playing the Twins, I would feel a lot better about this. No offense to the Twins, but they know. Their fans know. They know. Everyone knows that if the Yankees were facing the Twins, none of us would be nervous about this. Anyway, so let's get into this. The rosters came out earlier today, both Yankees and the Red Sox. Let's get into the Red Sox roster first, because there are some interesting things that happened, including some odd injury news. So pitching tonight is Nathan Evaldi. Now, you know the Yankees were okay against him the last time they faced him, but they've had trouble against him in the past. And the one guy who actually does well against Evaldi, DJ LeMahieu, who's 10 for 19 against him, of course, is not playing because he's injured. So that doesn't help. But here's your Red Sox roster for tonight. Pitchers, Evaldi, Eduardo Rodriguez, Nick Pivetta, Tanner Houck, Garrett Richards, Ryan Brazier, Adam Ottavino, Garrett Whitlock, Hansel Robles, Austin Davis, Josh Taylor, Matt Barnes. Catchers, Christian Vasquez, Kevin Plawecki, Connor Wong. Infielders, Christian Arroyo, Xander Bogaerts, Bobby Dahlbeck, Rafael Devers, Jonathan Arauz. How do you say his name? I don't even know how to say his name. I apologize, by the way, because I have a last name that no one ever pronounces right, and I should be better at that. Travis Shaw. Then outfielders, Jarren Duran, Hunter Renfroe, Alex Verdugo, Kyle Schwarber. Infield, outfield, bench player, Kike Hernandez. Now, you notice the name that I didn't say, J.D. Martinez. J.D. Martinez injured his ankle running out to the field in the last day of the season against the Nats. He tripped over second base. I'm not going to laugh because I'm one of the biggest klutzes on earth, and I've had so many stupid injuries in my life that I can't even laugh at someone else for doing that. But you're a baseball player. You've been playing baseball all your life. I know that they don't play him in the outfield as much because he's honestly kind of scary out there. But how do you not know where second base is? I mean, really, like that's just such a goofy injury to have happen. You know, that roster is scary as it is. The Red Sox and Yankees are pretty evenly matched. I said this on the post-game preview show. If you didn't watch it on Locked On MLB, watch it. And Jason from Locked On Red Sox said it. The teams are so evenly matched. They didn't seem evenly matched at the beginning of the season when the Red Sox kept beating up on the Yankees. But the season series ended with the Red Sox winning 10 out of 19 instead of, 18 out of 19. So they are pretty evenly matched, and they play the game the same way. They have hitters who can hit, but if they don't hit, you'll get shut out. You have pitchers who can implode at any second, and you have a defense that is frightening in some cases. And we saw that in the last series at Fenway with the Yankees. So even though the Yankees did well in that series, the defense left a lot to be desired. So we'll see what happens. Now, the Yankees roster: Rugi Odor, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, Gio Urshela, Andrew Velasquez in the infield. Catching: Rob Brantley, Kyle Higashioka, Gary Sanchez. And now, as you know, Higashioka will be catching tonight. Your infield/outfielder bench player, Tyler Wade, of course. Outfield: Greg Allen, Joey Gallo, Brett Gardner, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. And then pitchers: Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Domingo Germán, Chad Green, Clay Holmes, Michael King, Jonathan Loaizaga, Lucas Lecky, Wandy Peralta, Joely Rodriguez, and Luis Severino. This is interesting that they're bringing Brantley and Allen up, that they have Cortez as an extra starter, because if you don't know, Garrett Cole is probably still nursing that hamstring injury, which is probably why his outings are iffy and then okay and then iffy and then okay, and he's not pitching quite up to Garrett Cole standards. So, yeah, obviously, let's hope Aaron Boone will have a quick hook if something bad happens to Cole. Now, Cole has had bad outings in Fenway, and he's had okay outings in Fenway. We'll see which Garrett Cole shows up. It's going to be chilly tonight in Fenway, relatively speaking. It's going to be in the 50s. It's going to be damp. It had been raining in Boston and New York for the past 24 hours, so it'll still be a chilly night. You'll see people bundled up. It's hard to get warmed up in weather like that. So, again, having Cortez there as a backup is a good idea. See what happens. As for Brantley being there, I would imagine Gary Sanchez would come in to hit for Higashioka if Cole is taken out early, or even if Cole isn't taken out early, and say he's not having a good game against Evaldi, and you want someone with some pop, although Sanchez has not looked good lately, but he does have a tendency to hit in Fenway sometimes and dramatically. So maybe that could happen, but we'll see. It's interesting. We're right now 5 hours away. I could do math. 5 hours away, just about 5 hours away, because it's an ESPN game. It starts at 8:08. It's 2:50, so just over 5 hours until the game starts. Whew. Anyway, this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, but choosing only the brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. You can save time and money when using Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Their prices are reliably low for every customer, no matter who you are. They have everything from brake parts to tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Go explore their easy-to-use website today. Find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. So tonight, everything's on the line. Garrett Cole against Nathan Evaldi. As I said, these teams are so evenly matched. They're playing in Fenway. You don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen. It could be one of those low-scoring games. It could be another game like Sunday where it's 0-0 until the late innings. Or it could be one where one pitcher implodes and the other one doesn't. So I don't like the one-game format. I like it when other teams are in it. I am all for the wild card game when the Yankees aren't involved. I love it. I love chaos when the Yankees aren't involved. Hell, if a possible four-way tie happened in the AL wild card and the Rays were involved instead of the Yankees, and it was the Rays, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and Seattle Rays, right? I would have been all for it, but no, not when my team is involved. I don't like this one game thing, but I will have you know, this came out earlier. The Yankees lead the majors in most appearances in a wild card game since it started. So the Yankees are leading something in the 21st century. They may have only been in 2 World Series and haven't been in one since 2009. But hey, they've been in a bunch of wild card games since then. So that's cool. They lost the one to Houston, right? They beat the Twins, beat the A's, and now they're playing the Red Sox. I don't know about you. I was nervous about that A's game back in, was that 2018? I was nervous about that game. I wasn't sure, and a lot of people were joking also because the Yankees have a tendency to beat the A's in the playoffs too. But my thought was it's one game and anything can happen in one game. And that's what my thought is tonight. It's nice the Yankees swept the Red Sox in their last appearance in Fenway, and it was a really good series for the Yankees, but that's all wiped out. Just like everyone's stats on MLB.com. Everything's down to 0. Cole is 0-0, doesn't have an ERA. Same thing with Evaldi. But the thing that worries me about Evaldi is, yes, the Yankees got to him the last time he pitched, but they've had trouble against him in the past. And with the way they looked against the Rays over the weekend, after looking so good against the Blue Jays in Boston, heading into the series against the Rays, I thought, okay, this is actually good. Maybe they'll get the win out of the way on Friday. They'll be in the playoffs, and then maybe they could win one of the games Saturday or Sunday and then put themselves really ahead so we don't have to worry about this tiebreaker nonsense because the other teams are playing easier opponents. And then Friday, I said it on yesterday's show. Friday was Aaron Boone's fault. If you're not watching YouTube, I just made a face. Bringing in Domingo Germán was fine. Keeping him in was the problem. And then following him up with Albert Abreu. You're trying to win a baseball game. What are you doing? The Yankees could have won that game on Friday. They actually could have won that game on Friday. And Aaron Boone put them in the position to where they couldn't. Saturday, 12-2. No. There's just no. Jordan Montgomery looked horrible. As I said, in front of CC Sabathia. CC Sabathia was at the stadium. Oh, Jordan Montgomery, what were you doing? Maybe he was nervous? I don't know. But, that was bad. That was really bad. And then on Sunday, it took until the 9th inning for them to do anything. And I'm assuming the off day will help. As I said on yesterday's show, on Monday's show, it was raining in Boston. It was raining here in New York, too. It was really bad weather. And practice was, as the beat writers like to say, practice was banged. It was banged, and it didn't happen. The guys were throwing on the field and stuff. Cole was out there throwing, but they couldn't have actual batting practice on the field because the tarp was covering everything. And, I don't know how that's going to work for them, but I guess we'll see. I'm just worried about the fact that you never know what Yankee team is going to show up. And it's been like this all season. The Yankee team that could show up tonight could be the team you saw on Sunday, or it could be the team you saw against Robbie Ray last week that hit a bunch of home runs. Although, they didn't have that many hits. It was mostly home runs. Is it going to be the Yankee team we saw in Fenway the previous weekend? The one that came out guns blazing? I feel like the Yankees play better with their backs against the wall and not home. And you would think that the Yankees would do better at home. You have your fans cheering for you. You have the support of the fans cheering for you. But I feel like some of these guys actually thrive off hearing stadiums booing them and chanting Yankees suck, which they do in Fenway. They do it at christenings up in the Boston area. So, that's going to happen. Even if the Yankees are up 10-0, they're still going to chant Yankees suck. I mean, that's just what they do. But yeah, from watching this team, those last 9 games of the season that was basically the toughest part of their schedule. Having to go to Boston, having to go to Toronto for the first 2 years, facing that offense. They won 2 out of 3 in Toronto. And they made that game that they lost at least interesting. They tied it at one point. And then, Bo Bichette. And then they come home for the Rays and they just fell flat. So, people want predictions. How do you think the Yankees are going to do? Who do you think's going to win? I don't know. And I don't think anyone knows. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Mike Petriello of who does he work for? Is it MLB? But he's, popular on Twitter, and he's a big StatCast guy, and he does the StatCast broadcasts when they have them. And he even said, "You're lying if you think you know who's going to win tonight's game. You don't know. Not in a one-game playoff. Anything can happen in a one-game playoff. This is why I'm a nervous wreck today, and that's why you're a nervous wreck today. You know you are. You all can sit there and be like, "Oh no, I'm totally calm." You're not calm. You're not. This is horrible. I know baseball loves doing this to everyone. And as I said, if it wasn't the Yankees, if they were sitting at home waiting for their opponent, I would love this. And I will love it tomorrow night when the Dodgers and the Cardinals play. But right now, no, I don't love the wild card game at all. I will tell you what I love after this break, though, because it's something really good. Once again, thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. And once again, we're free and available on all platforms. Guess what? BetOnline is back and better than ever, and all eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface and even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code LOCKEDON to receive that bonus. From football, basketball, boxing, right down to your favorite casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Okay, so it's time for me to talk about my favorite thing. Let's try that again. Guess what won't be happening in the playoffs? What did I complain about the most? If you watched this podcast or listened to this podcast this season, what did Stacey Gotsulias complain about the most, aside from Aaron Boone? I'll give you a couple seconds. The runner on second in extra innings. It's not going to happen anymore. Hallelujah. I am very excited about this. Plus, I don't think it's going to be happening next year. I think it's totally done. We're done with that farce. It's over. So maybe you'll see another 18-inning game this postseason. Hopefully the Yankees aren't involved. Hopefully the Yankees are in a series, but not during an 18-inning game. I had to, when I worked for Baseball Prospectus 3 years ago, right? Yes, 3 years ago, 2018. That's right. Washington won 2019. It was the Red Sox that won in 2018. When the Red Sox played the Dodgers and they went to 18 innings, who had to cover the game for Baseball Prospectus? Meaning sitting at home, watching the game and having to write a recap. Who stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning writing that recap? Because the game ended after 7 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, that was me. And you would think after that experience, I would be all for the runner on second in extra innings. I'm not, at least not in the 10th inning. I feel like doing it in the 10th inning is too soon. If you want to wait maybe 2 innings, right? Let them play through the 10th and the 11th. And if something doesn't happen there, then do the runner on second. That I would be for. But the runner on second in the 10th inning is ridiculous. I don't like it. I'm so glad it's gone. No, thank you. Oh, and I mentioned the NL wild card, Cardinals against the Dodgers. Joe West is on the umpiring crew because Major League Baseball wants chaos, apparently. Mr. West will be retiring after this season, but he's going to get one last hurrah. And for the Brewers Braves, Angel Hernandez will be on that crew. Whew, I don't understand. I don't understand Major League Baseball at all. I kind of do because they're the marquee. Well, okay, here's the thing. If you know an umpire's name, that's not a good thing because it's never because they're good. You never hear about a good umpire. You always hear about the bad ones. You know? I'm just glad that Joe West isn't Well, he was in the wasn't he there for the Rays Yankee series this weekend? Yeah. So I'm glad he wasn't there. But I my poor Dodger fan friends, when they saw, oh no, Jerry Meals. Oh no. Okay. All right, that's not bad. Okay. Jerry Meals, Mark Carlson, Jordan Baker, don't like Jordan Baker, and I think Aaron Boone got into a thing with Jordan Baker. Ryan Blackney, James Hoy, and Jansen Visconti. Okay, so that's the crew for the AL wild card. Okay, and then let's see. Tom Hallion and Sam Holbrook. Let's see, we'll be doing. Oh, okay. No. Holbrook will be doing the Rays series. Whoever faces the Rays, Yankees, Red Sox, Dan Bellino, Greg Gibson, Brian Knight, Ron Culpa, DJ Rayburn. And then Tom Hallion will be doing the Astros, White Sox. He's the crew chief, along with Lance Barrett, Vic Carapazza, Chris Conroy, Chad Fairchild, and Adam Hamari. There you go. All right, some of those guys I haven't heard of, so that's actually good for them, I guess. But there are a lot of guys I have heard of, which isn't good, like Vic Carapazza. He is also a guy that I think Aaron Boone got into a tiff with. So, yeah, at least they won't have to deal with them. But I guess I don't know. If West works the wild card, does that mean he could work the World Series, right? Or one of the CSs? If the Yankees aren't in anything, I won't care that much. I'll like the chaos of it. As I said, I like the chaos when the Yankees aren't involved. And I'll just laugh at my friends who are upset about it. But, Boston lineup's out. Schwarber, DH, Kike Hernandez, center field, Devers, third base, Bogarts, shortstop, Verdugo, left field, Renfroe, right field, Plawecki, catcher, Dahlbeck, first base, Christian Arroyo, second base. Yankee lineup is not out yet. It is 3:05 in the afternoon, but again, the game is not until 8:08, which I'm sure Kanye West would love. It's a reference that's not from the 80s. Aren't you guys proud of me? Yes. Okay, say you're proud. So here we go. We have 5 hours, 3 minutes, give or take, because even though it's supposed to start at 8:08, is it going to start at 8:08? Apparently, Bucky Dent will be at the game. Obviously, he's not throwing out a first pitch because it's at Fenway, but he's going to be in attendance. So I don't know if that'll help, because it's not the exact anniversary. The Bucky Dent game was August, October 2nd, 1978. I vaguely remember it. I just turned 4, but I vaguely remember that game. So, yeah, as I always say, my first real memory of the Yankees being in the playoffs, the 81 World Series, which wasn't good for us, but what are you going to do? So, Cole, Evaldi. Don't know the Yankees lineup. The only sure thing, Kyle Higashioka catching, Garrett Cole, and batting. I'm assuming it would be Gallo, Gardner, Judge in the field, Giancarlo Stanton DHing, Rizzo at first, depending on how Gio feels. And I think that might be why the lineup is late, because Gio Urshela, I know they said they wanted him to play and that they thought he was going to play, but he could feel, sometimes when you hurt yourself the way that he did, while you do feel it the next day, you feel it really the day after that. So that could be another reason as to why the lineup isn't out yet. I'm going to double check and make sure that it's not out yet. Okay. So take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and sigh it out loud, like my Peloton instructor, Dennis Morton, says. In through the nose, out through the mouth. It'll be fine, everyone. I mean, I don't know if it'll definitely be fine, but we will survive no matter what happens, okay? Okay. So that's it for this episode of Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to remind you that you can listen to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Bets. Betting on the Yankees or baseball doesn't have to be a guessing game if you listen to the new Locked On Bets podcast hosted by your boy Q and handicapping expert Lee Sterling. Get daily picks, blowout specials, wrong team favorite picks, and Lee Sterling's lock of the day. Follow the Locked On Bets podcast, brought to you by betonline.ag, wherever you get your podcasts. If you could be so kind, please rate the podcast and spread the word about this podcast to your fellow Yankee fans. We would really appreciate it. And subscribe to us on YouTube. Enjoy your night, or at least try to. I'm doing this breathing to calm myself down as well. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.